Hi everyone, welcome to a uni session, real talk slash academic talk. I hope everyone's doing well. So the theme or the topic for today is the bigger picture, securing my future despite my grades. So I'm just going to welcome the co-host. My name's Aya Dasola. I'm an applied languages student. I'm going into my second year. So yeah, that's me. I'm going to welcome the co-hosts.
Okay, so my name is Iberton. I'm a current medical student, and I'm going into my first year of medicine.
Hi guys, my name is Samuel, and I am going into second year medical student.
Hi guys, my name is Isabel. I'm just finishing year 13 and I'm going into pharmacy this year.
Hi guys, I'm John Toby, and I'm going into second year as well.
Okay, so before we go into anything, we're just going to do a little icebreaker just to warm everything up. So I'll just explain actually, Samuel, do you wanna explain it?
Yeah, let's go. Seen it before. This is like word association. So basically, I'm going to say a word, and our co-hosts are going to have to say a word. They have to sing a song according to that word. So, for example, if I say glory, they'll say glory, glory, Lord, etc. So let's see who can actually win. Because I'm interested because we've got a different lineup. So I want to know who wins this one. First up, we have got Pillar.
You are the pillar that holds my life.
See, I know I just had a go ahead before. Like, you guys need to keep up. So like, let's.
You guys gotta keep up.
He's got it, but he's in choir. That's an advantage.
Literally, it's not fair.
What does that?
It's not fair already.
Okay, let's see. King.
Huh?
King.
King of majesty, I have one desire, just to be with you, my Lord.
Wow. Okay. I'll do two more. I will do Jesus.
Jesus, you are the savior of my soul.
There we have
Just like to sing that one. Too slow.
There we have it. Okay, we've got one more. Let's see if we can tie it up, Jonathan. Let Isabel, come on. I need you guys to get on.
I'm not quick. We've got a quiet person over here. It's not fair.
Okay, let me think of a good one. Grace.
I'm blinded by your grace. Does that count? That's gospel, isn't it? I'm blinded by your grace.
Okay, I think I have to count.
Or amazing grace. Yeah, I gave you two. You can choose.
I'm sorry, guys. I have to give the game to Ayatollah.
I got second place.
You got second place.
I just want to point out I won yesterday when I played this. I won yesterday.
You did? Did you?
I won yesterday.
Oh, you did. Okay, so I'm gonna just hand it over to Inquim to explain a little something.
Okay. So as we all currently know the situation, so around mid-March we went on lockdown here in the UK, and all GCSE and A levels went on to online. So it's been like that for since March, and everyone's now going to receive, has received their grades for A levels and GCSE. So what this session we're going to be looking at in this session, is how we've received our results, what it means to us, and how we could step up from that. So that's what we're going to be covering mainly in this session.
Okay, cool. So firstly, I'm just gonna ask everyone, like, how was your results day generally? Like, how did you feel about your grades and like your emotions, all of that stuff? So I'll just open up the question to everyone.
I don't mind going first. Well, I can tell you both of my results days. So like shout out to all the people that did the GCSEs. Like I can remember, like, even though it seemed like a long time ago, I can remember how it felt. I went into school, I was gassed. Like I felt like I knew what I was going to get. And I was correct with some subjects, but I was overall not the happiest person. Like, I did well, but I wasn't the happiest. So I thought I was going to do better. And I feel like that played a part into how I approached my A levels. And with A levels, luckily I didn't even have to go into school for it because I just got emailed. So I just rolled over as soon as I woke up, got my results on my phone, looked at them, then went back to sleep. And I probably should have paid more attention to when I looked at them, because then I would have realized I didn't get my first choice if I looked at them more correctly, and I would have had to do more like work and all that. But yeah, both my results days weren't overall the best, but I learned some things along the way, and God had a plan for me. So I ended up getting where I'm getting to now. But yeah.
Contrast to that, I feel like with me, I wasn't really expecting, or I didn't really know what I was going to get. So I was just going there clueless, thinking, wow, what am I going to get? So on arrival with my friends, just seeing other people, like just seeing a lot of people upset, to me, that kind of got to me a little bit. And I haven't even opened my results at this point. So after opening, this is GCSE, by the way, after opening my results, I was looking at them thinking, yeah, I could have done a lot better than I did. So I was essentially putting the blame on myself at that point. Moving on to A-level BTEC, with BTEC, because I did a BTEC, you kind of already know what you're going to get before the actual day. So I just obviously went in there knowing what I've already got and just, you know, celebrating. So that was with my GCSE and results day and BTEC.
Yeah, so for me, I think my journey was a lot more smooth. Like, I think it was very smooth for me personally, as in I got sort of what I was going for, both for GCSEs and A levels. But I guess throughout the whole process, there was still a lot of nerves. So just, you know, the what ifs, like, okay, because I set quite a high standard for myself in both my GCSEs and my A levels. So there's a lot of, okay, like, what if, you know, trying not to worry and doubt. But yeah, I mean, for me, it was quite tense all the way up until the point where I actually opened up my physical results and saw the grades that I got. But I guess when I did see them, I was happy, but the journey was definitely a bit tense.
For me, I had like two basically polar opposite like experiences. So with my GCSEs, my plan was just to run into school, grab them and run back out. And it went pretty well. So I was happy with it. Went off to apply to a sixth form and did all the works. It was pretty well, thanks be to God. But A levels that I got literally last week, completely opposite experience, because obviously it was a whole like algorithm situation where it was like you don't really know what you're going to get, but you can sort of not really think about it, but you can't like say, oh, I performed this much on my exam, so I think I'm going to get this. It's literally an algorithm can mess you up seriously. And then like the weeks coming up to it, you'd see reports like 60% of students will get their grades, 40% will get downgraded, and it was just the worst because it was like so many things were going into it. Like you would say, oh, I'm really hopeful that I get this grade, and then you'd open up your phone and read 30% of students aren't going to get the grades that they need, and it's like a mess. So when I opened up my one, it was below what I needed for both of my offers, so I ended up losing both of my offers. But I want to thank God, because in the end I still got offered an alternative course on my firm uni, so I'm still going to my firm, just not on the course that I initially wanted to do.
Yeah, so for me, I think similar to Isabel and someone else, I can't remember who said it, but my GCSE and my A-level were kind of opposite. Like my GCSE was great, loved it, opened it, I was happy, that's cool, got into my sixth form. So yeah, that was good. And I guess like I was sort of used to just doing well, like, you know, but then when it came to my A-level, I definitely wasn't happy. It was an emotional day, I can't lie. I didn't get into the uni that I thought the uni that I wanted to get into, but I can definitely say, like, looking back now, I know like God definitely had a better plan. Like the course that I ended up doing is better than what I thought I wanted to do. Like it's same, but it's the same course, but it's like different. It's more versatile. So yeah, so it was good. It just sort of taught me to like trust God basically the whole day in general. So again, how did you guys sort of manage your parents' expectations then, especially for the people who weren't happy with their grades?
I'd say with my parents, I was a bit. I don't know if I use lucky. I think lucky might be the right word. Basically, my parents were like, whatever you get, just as long as you tried your best, it was okay. And it was more about the expectation that I had of myself, and that weighed up upon me up until the results day. So with results days, normally like the weeks leading up, I'm like tense, I'm nervous, like I can't sleep. Then on the actual day, I feel fine. And I'm just like, there's nothing much I can really do now. So like I feel like perfectly fine. And it was my parents didn't have that expectation. It was just me having that expectation of myself. And it's probably due to my parents instilling like the perfection in everything that you do. So like making sure that everything I do, I try my best. I try and aim for perfection. So that's probably where I ended up with, oh, I must get the 3 stars. And then when that doesn't happen in myself, I'm like, damn, I'm actually really disappointed in myself. But I feel like it's something that you learn that as if you have high aspirations, if you fall a bit short of them, is okay, because God first of all always has your back, and second of all, if you fall a bit short of a high expectation, you've still done pretty well. So like obviously in the moment it doesn't seem like that, but like that's the way I saw it like after all of this.
Just to touch onto what Samuel said, one thing that I did realize at the time is, first of all, to say we all have different parents. So our parents, one parent might act in a particular way, another parent might act in another way. So we all have different parents. And I feel like the interesting part of this is the main and key thing that all parents realistically want for their children is for them to do well. So them being harsh, them lashing out on you, them shouting at you like when you receive your grades and they're not, particularly up to par what they set the standards for. We need to understand that our parents are only seeing it from a point of view of, I wanted my child to do well, I wanted him to do well, I wanted her to do well. You see what I mean? Because a lot of us just think that, why do our parents want us to do, like, why are they so harsh on us? Why are they so strict on us? Like, other people receive their results, it may not be as good, but they're just lashing out on me. Do you see what I mean? So I feel like it's important to just understand and see it as a point of view of, oh, my parents just want the best for me, so this is why they are reacting in this way.
Okay, and there's actually a direct question for you. Which BTECs did you take? Just for the people watching.
So I did BTEC in Applied Science, level 3. So a 2-year course, BTEC level 3 Applied Science.
Yeah, I guess like when it comes to expectations and parents, I guess for me, the main thing that really helped me was just making sure that I was transparent throughout the whole process. And again, like, Ibukan and both Samuel have said, it's coming to the understanding that, look, your parents only want the best for you, and despite all the shouting there may be or whatever or whatnot, they want you to do better than they did when they were your age. They want you to do better than them. So that's why it's so important to stay transparent. So you let them know at every single stage of the process, yeah, like I might have missed a grade here, but you still know that my goal is to do this or to get that grade. And you sort of work together. It's really good to try and work together with your parents when you realize they're only acting in your best interest, instead of trying to be like, oh, I'll hide this from them, I won't really keep them in the loop. So I guess for me, it's less managing expectations and more working with your parents to get to the desired result.
Yeah, I definitely agree with all of you. You basically all like said what I was gonna say. So on results day, did you find that you like were comparing yourself to other people? Like, did comparison kick in a lot?
Yeah, I feel like with me, seeing as I didn't get my grades, it was a lot of I think as humans, what we want to do is like run around and look, oh, is someone doing worse than me so that I can make myself feel better? That's kind of what we naturally do. And it's bad, obviously, because like you're trying to downgrade how bad the situation may be just for your own personal ego or for your own confidence. But yeah, I did that because I would go online and it would be like, I missed my grades by what, 2? And then I would go online, someone would be like, oh, I missed my grades by like 10. And they'll be like, oh, okay, I didn't do that bad, but I still didn't make my offers. So by me doing that, it's very counterproductive to go around and compare yourself. But then at the same time, it's not very productive with yourself to compare yourself to other people because they might be doing really well right now. You might be thinking, oh my gosh, I'm such a failure because they are doing this and they're going to Cambridge and they're doing this course. And here I am with this course. I'm not going to a top school. I'm going to a top, I don't know, not top 20 school. I'm going to just a regular school. But you need to understand that like everyone's going to face hardships at some point and they may not even show you your hardships. You're aware of yours because it's you, but they have hardships that they're not showing. And maybe 5 years, 10 years down the line, they will also have hardships that you won't have. So obviously it's normal to compare yourself, but limit it because it's really counterproductive for your own progress.
Yeah. I was just going to say, to go off that, someone in the comments did ask, what should you do if you're graded off your subject for a course? And the best thing, if you're an A-level student, for you to do, in my opinion, because that's what I did, I called the university like straight away. Like if you see that you're a grade below, if you see you haven't been accepted, because most times unis do accept people if they have a grade below what they're expecting to have. But if you haven't been accepted, you can call the uni, see if there's any places to do clearing. And yeah, but just to go on top of that, what you were saying before about oh my goodness. Sorry, brain freeze, someone talk.
Yeah, I was just gonna say, with comparison, obviously on results day, everyone puts stuff on their Snapchat story and they'll be like, oh, you got into this, they screenshot their UCAS thing and then they'll post it in their story, like you've been accepted into so uni. And I think obviously as I didn't get into the uni that I wanted to, it's hard, like you're comparing. I think that adds to the feeling of disappointment on yourself, even though I know that I worked hard. And then also seeing like people who I know we were working together, we were working hard together, we were going for the same uni, and then that person got in and I didn't. And then we both love God, we both serve God. So it's sort of like, well, why? What happened? Like, but I guess all things work together for the good of those who love God, like Romans 8:28, you know? So yeah, definitely, I definitely, as I said earlier, found that later. So yeah, just don't compare really.
Yeah, I think just quickly to add on to what Ayodele said, I think when it comes to comparing and the whole social media, like Snapchat, we've all seen those Snapchat stories and stuff. I think, you know, personally, I don't think there's anything wrong with people doing that. And I think, you know, if someone does do that, then instead of comparing yourself to them, you should just like congratulate them and be like, well done. But you can only really do that if you have the understanding that, as the title of this whole stream is, you have an understanding that there is indeed a bigger picture and that these grades don't define you. And once you understand that, you know, God has planned your life from start to end. He has a glorious destiny for you, you know, and your grades are just, they don't define your destiny. Once you can move past that mindset of, oh, these grades define me, then if someone does well, you congratulate them, you know, because you know that you're running 2 different races. You know, never try and run someone else's race or be envious of someone else's race. Always focus on your own race because God has a glorious destiny for each and every single one of us individually. So that really helps.
So for the people again who they didn't go as planned, would you say that like it affected your relationship with God or your faith or anything like that?
For me, not. I think I'd be lying if I said like I wasn't upset, because it was like I've been praying for literally, because I've been waiting for 5 months. So it was like just sitting about praying and doing all that, you know, I thought was needed. And then it didn't work out the way I wanted it. And then after, like, when you reflect on it, it's like, that's the way I want it. God knows what he wants and God knows what my plan is meant to be. So it's like, okay, like this is the way I wanted it. I wanted to get into this uni to study this course, but for all I know, God's plan wasn't to do that. So I think it was like, at first it was just, oh no, I didn't get it. God doesn't listen to me. And then it was like, actually, God's plan is probably greater than what I could even imagine. So I think my relationship was better because I was more.
Yeah, for me, I'd say like it's sort of the overall thing sort of made my faith stronger, to be honest, because at the time, obviously, when you don't get into your firm, in my case anyway, I guess you start, what am I saying? When stuff don't go your way. So obviously, I was thinking of the alternative. There's nothing wrong with doing clearing or doing like a apprenticeship or something like that. But I think I just paused and I prayed about it, and then like after looking over it now, I'm thinking, okay, if I did an apprenticeship, like, and I went abroad, which I would have done because I do languages, Corona would have happened, and that would have been a waste of a year. If I tried to repeat, redo like a subject or something like that, people didn't even do their exams. That wouldn't have happened. I would have had to stick to my grades. So that really showed like God honestly does have a plan, and you just need to be sensitive to like everything and don't fight God, work with him, you know. So yeah.
Yeah, I was going to say that with mine, even though I didn't get into my firm originally, it took about maybe like 3 weeks later, the university I wanted to get into got in touch with me and told me that they wanted to offer me a place. And obviously that reaffirmed, I wouldn't say I lost faith in God in the first place. It was more like you can't really blame God for, I chose not to blame God for my results because I felt at the time maybe it wasn't for me. But at the end of it, I saw that God had a plan and all that. So you have to always remember that if you honestly believe this is what God has called you to do, especially A levels with courses and stuff like that, if you believe God has called you to do it, He'll find a way. Maybe it's now, maybe it's a graduate course, maybe you transfer later. He'll find a way for you to do that course because nothing's impossible. You have to remember, like, nothing is impossible.
Okay, so by the time you got into uni and like I guess post results day and stuff, would you say like your mental health was sort of affecting stuff? And by the time you got into uni, did you experience imposter syndrome or something and feel like inferior to the people in your course or anything like that? Like, what was everyone's experience? I guess Isabel can't really answer this. So.
Well, with me, especially since I'm a medical student, like you go in and you see so many smart people telling you that they got 3 stars and they got in straight away. And I was just here like, they got back to me like 3 weeks later. And at first I was feeling a bit of imposter syndrome, I guess, because I was feeling that maybe I'm not smart enough. Maybe I don't deserve to be here. And you almost have to like snap yourself out of it. And that's what I had to do. Like I had to remember that God's put me here for a reason. I am smart enough. Like the people in the university believe that I can come here. God believes that I can come here, and a bunch of other people believe that I can do this. So why can't I believe in myself that I can do this? Like there's no reason, if everyone else believes I can do this, there's no reason for me not to believe in myself, because they must see something in me that I don't. And that's how I got through it, because it took me a while, especially with like the competitiveness of med school. It took me a while, but like eventually I got there and I was like, yeah, I do deserve to be here. I'm not dumber than anyone else.
Okay. So yeah, for me, I'd say leading up to going into uni, yeah, mental health wise, like yeah, I was very anxious, lots of anxiety, all of that stuff. Like I tend to overthink all the little stuff. Like okay, like Sam said, what if you're not good enough? People got into this uni, they might have had unconditional offers into the uni, da da da. But I think we thank God, like my experience, I actually found I didn't have, by the time I was actually in uni, I didn't have imposter syndrome at all. Like I thank God that I actually found the course much, much, much easier. Like I found that what they were teaching was more of revision, sort of when it came to the Spanish aspect, and it was all just like agrees that I know it's actually just a testimony, so we thank God, but it's definitely just a mindset that, yeah, it's definitely a mindset. You have to have the right mindset anyway. Yeah, does anyone?
If I can add on to that, I feel like for me, and when going into uni, you realize that in uni there's a lot of people trying to find themselves, because everyone's just gotten away from their parents. You're independent, you got free time, you can do whatever you want. So you have a lot of people trying to find themselves, and just they use those years in uni to create their identity that they're going to carry through out their whole life. So that's why, for me, one thing that really helped me is that I made sure that I stayed close to God leading up to uni. So when everyone else is trying to find their identity, obviously all of us, we already can find our identity already in the Bible, in Christ. And that meant that you're not changing throughout uni, or you're sort of like the same sort of person, you're consistent, while other people are out there just sort of changing and, trying to find themselves. You already know who you are. And mental health wise, that kind of really helped me personally.
Okay. Yeah, so then also a scripture just for everything. Oh, it's on the screen now. Yeah, Philippians 4:6. So don't worry about anything. Instead, pray about everything, tell God what you need, and thank him for all he has done. So yeah, that definitely just helps with that. So after you guys, when results day didn't go, for the people who oh gosh, what was I saying? When results day didn't go as you planned, for the people who it didn't, that makes sense. Did you ever have a moment where you thought, is my purpose different? Am I on the wrong track in life? Did you sort of second guess everything that you're doing, or just have that sort of moment?
Many times, like after GCSE results day especially, I am linking back to the whole imposter syndrome. I thought that, yeah, clearly medicine isn't for me. I was looking at my grades and I was looking at the entry requirements for UCAS, and I was just comparing them to, and I was looking, this clearly isn't, I'm clearly not meant to be a medical student or pursue medicine. So I did doubt myself. I did think that, yeah, maybe medicine isn't for me. But I felt like what was important at that time, like coming off after that, was understanding that no, it may not be the case that medicine isn't for me. It may mean, okay, I just have to work a little bit harder. Or especially how I saw at the time is God is redirecting my steps. Just real quick, Proverbs 16 verse 9, it says, a man's heart plans his way, but the Lord directs his steps. So yes, you can feel that okay, I have tried it this way. I've seen it as a thing of where I've put in my best and I want to go down this route, but now not getting into that way, not getting into that direction. God has a better plan for me. And I did experience that after going into uni. So instead of me starting medicine after 2018, I started 2 years afterwards. And I felt like that has helped me so much more. And I felt like I'm in a better position starting medicine now than before. So that's how I would see it.
For me, it was a case of obviously like not getting the grades. It was like, oh, okay, maybe the same feeling of Ibukan had. It was a case of, for me, it was I applied for medicine as well. So it was like, oh, maybe medicine isn't for me. And I think it's because I kind of taught myself out of, I think it was a lot for me. It was a case of I was researching a lot, like seeing as I had 5 months of basically not doing anything. I was researching a lot, reading a lot, looking at different specialties I wanted to go to, that type of thing. And then I sort of just had a vision for myself of what I wanted to do, that type of thing. And then when I got the grades and it didn't work out, and then I got offered the alternative course, pharmacy. I was like, okay, well, pharmacy has elements that I think I'll enjoy. And at the basis, I think for me, it was a case of I wanted to go into medicine because I wanted to study like sciences and study something that I enjoy, the biology, the chemistry part, and help people and treat people and think of treatments. And because it's such a broad thing that I wanted to do, it was like there are multiple paths to the same range of opportunities that you have in different courses and different careers. So maybe the path that you wanted to go on. For me, anyway, I want to just go on straight onto the medicine path and then run with it, and then go become a doctor 5-6 years later. Might not have been as prosperous as maybe me doing the pharmacy now, and then along the line I'll do different things, different placements, have different opportunities that if I had not gone into, if I didn't do pharmacy, I did medicine instead, I might not have had. So I think going on to a different path, it just opens you up to different opportunities that you may not have thought of before, but because God's opened up to you, you can go ahead and enjoy different experiences that you wouldn't have thought twice about prior to the whole experience.
Yeah, for me, I feel like I've known what I've wanted to do for a really long time, and I've prayed about it, and I've just known I'm on the right track. And I thank God that my family have been supportive of that, and just helped me. I've researched about it and all sorts. And I feel like because I'd already had external people try and question what I was doing, like the moment it didn't go to plan. No, because I'd already had external people question what I was doing, but I'd already backed, like, I know I'm supposed to be doing this. The moment that I face a challenge, I kind of can't give up now because I've already backed, like, I know I'm supposed to be doing this. So I think Ibokun already kind of said it, but instead of when you sort of experience a challenge, instead of just giving up, you should push even harder, like use that as motivation. By the time you get to uni, you're like, okay, I'm going to work even harder. I'm going to push and drive. Yeah, so I didn't really consider doing anything else. I didn't think I was on the wrong path or anything like that. So yeah. Okay, so now would you guys what's your final advice really for people just going through this sort of period if their results didn't go according to plan? Or people who might be feeling anxious about going to uni, or people, just general advice for people in this period, including Isabel.
The advice I'd have for you is to don't give up on what you believe God has got planned for you and what you have, what you want. So a story that comes to mind for me is the parable of the three people that one has 5 talents, one has 2 talents, one has 1 talent. The guy with 5 talents goes and doubles his talents. The guy with 2 talents goes and doubles his talents, and the person with 1 talent just hides it away. And I feel like GCSEs and A-levels are the same in that sense. As long as you put your talents to use and you try as hard as you can and you don't give up, there's no reason for you not to be successful. Because the person who doubled his 2 talents is, in my eyes, I see as he's just as successful as the person that doubled his 10 talents because they both doubled what they had. So just because right now you feel like, oh, it hasn't gone my way, don't hide your talent away. Keep on working at it. And eventually, by God's grace, you will become successful because God has that plan for you to be successful.
What I would like to say is quickly on the Bible scripture, Romans 8 verse 28, and this says, and we know that for those who love God, all things work together for good, for those who are called according to his purpose. Guys, we need to understand that God does have a plan for us, no matter how bad things are looking at a current period of time. God does have a plan for us. So make sure you key in to what you want to do and let God direct you. Let the Bible become your friend. You see what I mean? Filling yourself up with scriptures, sermons, positivity, things that just will help you and give you encouragement, word of encouragement. It will help you push on, and surely you would get your you would achieve your heart desire. Sorry.
Yeah, so for people feeling I'd say for people feeling the imposter syndrome, I'd say just know that, like, Philippians 4:13, I can do all things through Christ who strengthens me. Like, actually believe it. I don't just recite it, but actually believe it. Like, God you can do all things basically, and you don't have any right to feel inferior. And I'd also say Philippians 1:6, I'm just going to read this off here. It said, be confident of this, that he who began a good work in you will carry it onto completion until the day of Christ Jesus. But yeah, I just say for that again, if you face a challenge, like I said earlier, and you feel like giving up, don't, because God who started this, God who's put you on this path, and you've already done your A levels, you picked those subjects and stuff like that, like God will complete it. Or just be sensitive to the voice of God. That's what I'm saying.
Yeah, I think everyone gave like super advice. So all I would say, just to add on to what they've said, is for me, the main thing that I would tell you is make sure you can detach your results, your static results you got in this one moment of time, to your actual identity and who you are. Because who you are, your identity, that's consistent and follows you through your whole entire life. These results, these GCSEs, A levels, I can promise you, in 10 years' time, you will never even like think about it again. Like they won't even be a part of your life. So don't let a static situation like your GCSEs or A levels that might not have gone completely to plan change your knowledge of your identity, because your identity is very clear. You know, in 1 Corinthians 2:16, it says that we have the mind of Christ. That is that period. That's it. End of story. We have the mind of Christ. And no matter what you got in your A-levels, GCSEs, that does not change the reality of who we are in Christ. So for me, I'll just say, look, really dig into the Bible to find your identity and stay close to that, because no grade, no situation, no slip can change who we are in Christ.
I think everyone's kind of said it all, but I'd say, as well as everything, letting God lead you, latch on to Jeremiah 29:11 with like dear life. It says, for I know the plans I have for you, declares the Lord, plans to prosper you and not to harm you, plans to give you a hope and a future. Literally just latch on to that, because even if it may not look good now, give it a couple years, or not even a couple years, literally maybe even a couple months, and you will reflect back and think, thank God that God led me in this direction. Thank God that it went this way and not that way. Maybe my way wasn't the best way, because in the end, God knows more. God knows what's happening in 10 years' time. Realistically, we barely know what's going to happen in the next month, especially in this volatile situation. You don't even know what's happening in the next month. God knows what's going on in the next 10 years. And what you may want to do right now may not even be available, might not be even a viable career choice in the next 10 years' time. And you might be back at square one, but God redirecting you might be saving you from all that stress. So that's what I would say. Just let God lead you, even if it may look a bit confusing right now. It will pay off in the future.
And also,
oh.
I was just gonna say, if someone like Jeremy Clarkson is reminding you every year that he got D's and he's still successful, more so should you be listening to like people that actually care about you. Like, there's so many people out here in the world telling you that what you get right now doesn't define you. Like, just remember that. Like, honestly, that is, if there's anything for me to take away from today, that would be like the main thing that I would want people to understand, that it really doesn't define you. Like, it really doesn't define you.
Yeah, thanks everyone. So next week is basically going to be for all the uni students. So we're going to be talking, it's going to be joint with Real Talk and the academic team again. And we're going to be just touching on what to expect in uni, the different aspects like finance, social life, all of that stuff. So make sure everyone joins. I'll see you again on Thursday at 8 p.m. And thank you to everyone who's watched. So yeah, thanks.